Hi, how are you? I'm Larry Mabry. Today I'm going to show you 6 steps of anger and how to deal with it. Just so you know, I'm a life coach in this area here, and I wanted to try to expand. And in Southfield area, I want to try to expand and trying to help some people who are dealing with anger. A lot of clients that I have anger issues, and they have to come in and you have to help them through situations, through baby mama drama, dealing with stuff at the court, um, dealing with road rage, things of that nature. So you basically want to try to help them out. And I've decided to do this video to try to help my clients and try to help anybody else out there in YouTube land and they need some assistance. So I'm going to show you like 6 steps of anger and kind of how to deal with it and kind of break it down for you so you kind of really know how to handle it. All right, here we go. Let's go right into it here. I'll go ahead and share my screen. And we're going to do presentation mode. All right, let's get started. All right, so dealing with anger and how do I do it? That's what we're going to check out and see. All right, our objectives. We're going to define anger today. We're going to talk about the causes of anger. We're going to talk about anger versus aggression. We're going to also talk about the physical symptoms of anger triggers, or when you get upset. That's usually called a trigger, and a certain style of anger that you have. We're going to also be dealing with anger effectively and how to resolve that issue. All right, here we go. So what is anger? Anger is a normal feeling that we all experience. So just so you know, it's okay to feel anger. That's just a normal emotion. There's nothing wrong with it. The problem happens when we basically want to hurt ourselves or somebody else. That's when we have an issue. All right? Okay. Anger is a basic human emotion response experienced by all people. We all get angry. Nothing wrong with that. Anger is typically triggered by a threat, a perceived threat, real or imaginary, an injustice, hurt, or frustration when faced with an obstacle. Anger can vary from person to person and from situation to situation. Anger is a strong feeling of displeasure with someone or something combined with an urge to fight back. Anger is one of humanity's most basic emotions. You're going to feel how you feel, and how you act is up to you. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. Your feelings. All right, so anger feeling versus aggression or action. Know the difference between anger and aggression. Aggression causes damage with words, fists, or weapons, but it is virtually always designed to punish. Aggression is intended to threaten or injure the victim's security or self-esteem. Aggression is one negative way in which individuals express anger. So a lot of times you may have a situation where somebody get mad and they just want to fight you. All right, here we go. What are those things that make you angry? Different things can make you angry, or that make different people angry, but everyone feels angry sometimes. Triggers, or what bugs you? All right, now this is where it's going to get interesting. Anger produces situations. So a specific person or event, insults, sometimes you're around certain people, you get that vibe. You're like, it may get you angry. If somebody insults you, it could be like a low-level diss, and that will get you a little angry. If you're in stressful situations, that's going to get you angry, worried, be disappointed, someone's letting you down. If you're annoyed of a situation, that's going to get you angry. Sometimes if you're afraid, but it may come off as being angry, but even though you're afraid, you may be resentful of a situation. It may be a situation you're dealing with right now, or it could be a situation from your past, a frustration or embarrassment. All right, here we go. Rejection. If somebody rejects you, you can actually have a situation where you get angry, especially if they're trying to embarrass you or hurt you. Having possessions taken or broken. Obviously, if someone come and jack your whip, that could be an issue. Okay, or anything else that's personal to you. Jealousy can provoke anger. Being teased or talked about, obviously that'd be an angry issue. Low self-esteem. So you could be frustrated because you're not really expressing yourself and you're getting angry. Grief. If you have a situation where someone passed away, or you lost a loved one, or you know, a family member, or just a relationship, broken relationship that can cause grief. Home life, basically, you got challenges in the crib, and you know, no judgment here, but that can cause some anger. All right, now dealing with anger. How do you deal with it? If you know your anger triggers, then you can either try to avoid them, which is what a lot of people do. A lot of people try to avoid the anger, but I wouldn't recommend that. There's certain situations where you have to kind of put yourself in a safe, like, stipulation, but mostly you want to try to handle it in a safe way, and we'll talk about that probably in another video. All right, so you can learn how to deal with them, which is what we recommend. You can learn how to put your feelings into words, explore and name the emotions: hurt, confused, shame, etc. And that's some things that we'll discuss too, probably in a later video. But I'll just kind of hit a little bit now. So basically, with what we do with life centers, where I work or where I part of a, well, I have my own practice, but I'm a part of a, I would say, a body of professionals who have different skill sets. And we really try to help people deal with their anger and kind of work through some of the emotional things that they're struggling with, that they may not be able to communicate effectively. It may inhibit their job, or they may be in situations with the courts. And our job is to make sure that we can help them work through that emotional situation so that they can be successful. We've been very successful with a lot of our clients. All right. These are two issues: controlling anger, reacting to anger. Poor handled anger can cause many problems. So I'm curious, if you ever had a situation where you couldn't handle it properly and then you just got frustrated and just responded, yeah, that's reacting to anger. Controlling anger is basically a situation where you kind of keep it down, but it expresses in another situation. Let's say like you hit your hand on something and you know, you kind of controlling it. You didn't, you know, but then you express it in another situation. So that's really not good. All right. Controlling your anger. When your anger is triggered, you're going to react in some way. The way you react is called your anger style. So you either dump it on somebody else, you act out, or you bury it, which means you keep it inside. A lot of kids do a lot of these three things, but adults do as well. In terms of the kids, usually a kid could be mad at somebody and they'll just dump it on you, or they'll act out, which if you have kids, you probably see that. And I notice burying happens a lot in adults, but it's something that they learn when they're kids, because they may be in a situation at the home where they didn't feel comfortable expressing themselves. So they buried it deep inside rather than actually expressing it. And this one's a tricky one because they may have been in an environment where, you know, maybe the mom or dad didn't really allow them to speak out. So, or they may have said something like, you know, if you say something, I'm gonna hit you, or, you know, go ahead and cry, which kind of makes a child feel kind of like, you know, if they say something, they're gonna get hurt, so they don't really say something. So through time, they grow up in relationships, and you end up keeping it in. You're not expressing yourself, and that could pose an issue to yourself as well as your mate. All right, uncontrolled anger or out of control anger can trigger a large number of antisocial behaviors. Can trigger negative consequences, and can also hurt your physical health. So that's what I was saying earlier. It's important to make sure that you deal with this anger, because it's basically, it becomes like a cancer. It grows and get out of control, and you end up having really bad relationships, and you don't know how to communicate, and it causes issues. Or you end up doing things that you really don't want to do out of just being out of control, and then you're backed off and you're like, man, how did that happen? And usually that happens because, you know, we get so mad that we respond from that emotion, and we don't really have the mindset to really think things through, and then we just which causes the problem. Okay, you can't always control the situation you're in or how it makes you feel, but you can control how you express your anger. And for some people who pushed it down for a while, you know, there's some strategies that we could work with people to help them handle that. Because some people may not know how to deal with their anger. And there's no judgment, but it is what it is. All right, here we go. Anger is a problem. When it harms you, when it leads to aggression, when it harms people around you, when it disrupts schools or relationships, when it's too frequent, intense, and lasts long, when it harms, affects your overall quality of life, when chronic explosive anger spirals out of control. A lot of clients that we serve pretty much fit all of these categories. And if anybody, that's watching this, if you notice that you've had any of these issues, go ahead and write some comments down below. We'll see what we can do to help you and give you some strategies. My goal is to try to give people some strategies so they can help themselves with that. All right, here we go. Uncontrolled anger can trigger a large number of antisocial behaviors and negative consequences too if you don't resolve the issue. All right, here we go. Consequences of acting out can lead to legal troubles, can lead to problems at home, school, and community, relationship problems, substance abuse, physical problems, emotional problems, low self-esteem, and others, okay? All right, so you can see how that one issue with anger can cause a whole list of problems, so it's important to make sure you handle it, and you wanna make sure that you get with us or someone, a professional, so that that person can help you. All right, here we go. How does anger make you feel physically? Well, feeling angry has a physical reaction that is usually unpleasant. Anger cues. Usually at a clenched fist, you notice that your heart rate kind of starts pounding, and you start sweating. You sweat, your body sends you signals when you're getting angry. You usually get loud, you usually have a red face, stomach get upset or queasy. Those are cues, okay? All right, warning signs what warning signs apply to you? So let's talk about it. Usually when you have an anger situation, you can't focus because you're so caught up in the emotion, you're not thinking about anything else. So it's best to, in that situation, to maybe step away and try to calm down, maybe count to 10. Sometimes when you're so pissed off like that, you can't really count to 10. So I would recommend you get away from that situation. I don't mean swing on a person to get away. I just mean you might need to step away for a minute and get yourself together. All right. Okay. Usually insult people, heavy breathing, you become argumentative, usually trying to prove your point, which causes more issue and adds more fuel to the fire, which makes it more combative, and you don't want that. Pace usually starts to change, usually quickens. Stare, you go quiet and shut down. This is certain people that keep it inside. You may throw things, you may make an angry face, you may become aggressive, you may use profanity, you may cry. You can't stop thinking about the problem or individual, okay? So if you notice that you've had these things going on, chances are you're angry. All right, so when dealing with anger, it's important to cool off and stay calm. You might want to walk away, count to 10, and I'm gonna give another recommendation with that too. That's worked. When I work with a lot of adults, as well as a lot of children who had a lot of issues, I told them to count from 20 down to 0. And the reason why I recommend that is because when you start at 20, and first of all, take a deep breath. So when you're really mad, you want to take a deep breath, hold it for like 3 seconds, and then you let it go. You want to do that at least 3 times. But I just want to give you that example. What that does, that kind of resets your brain. It kind of does what they call a pattern interrupt. It kind of resets your brain to get you back like focused and inside your body, present, so you can handle the situation. But I recommend counting 20 down to 0, because when you start at 20 and you're going down to 0, your mind has to engage in it. But if you count to 10, you may go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 real quickly, but you're still mad. Whereas if you go from 20 down to 10, down to 0, then you're going to actually take your time, because you have to cognitively process 20, 19, 18, 17. That's not something you can just rip off really quick. So I recommend doing that too, to kind of, relax yourself, get yourself calm, and get back like within your body, so that you can, handle the situation. You'll notice too, when you get mad, it's like you're not even the right person. Like you find that things happen. I have clients, has to tell me situations where they get so mad, they don't even know who they are, and literally it's like a whole different spirit. And basically, because of that emotion that's rushing up, they're not even thinking cognitively, and they really, for that moment, really aren't themselves. So it's important to kind of get yourself back under control. So you want to take deep breaths. You want to use calming self-talk. I can handle this, chill. It's not as bad as it seems. I don't know if you have some really good music. I'm not saying rap music. I'm not against it, but what I recommend is like some ambient music or some calm music that's like has a certain vibration, a certain level to just kind of keep you in a chill zone because you want to have that. Okay. You want to imagine you're in a peaceful place. And the thing about music that's really cool is it goes past your conscious and hits your subconscious and automatically gets you into that flow. Okay, let me give you an example. You know how you listen to like a commercial or something on the radio, and all of a sudden you saying it and singing it. You're like, man, why am I saying it? It's because it went straight to the subconscious, right? And it's already in your spirit, and you're like, whoa, that's why you got to be mindful of your mind, right? Okay, so anyway, recommend good music to calm you down. All right, let's move on. Okay, you want to give yourself some time to sort things out, write the problem down on paper. My clients, I recommend them get a journal, write it down, write down the situation, because the process of you writing it down actually calms you down too, right? If you're mad, you got to calm down and then think about, okay, what happened? That's going to calm you down. That process of, just writing and cognitively processing word for word and what happened and that type of thing, it's going to calm you down. Okay. Think it through. Ask yourself, well, what happened? What was the trigger? What were my cues? Talk it over with a friend if you can, an adult if you trust them. What I recommend though too is sometimes, especially my clients, they may be in situations where they only about themselves. So I recommend getting like a journal, and then you can write down some things. And there's some, you desire to work with me, we could work it out. There's certain things that with our practice we do to kind of help people work through it. It's been working really well to help people process it though. So it doesn't happen overnight though, but it's a process that we do to kind of decompress and work things out, because we got to change things that we've been doing for a while. Okay. Then you want to look at the situation from a different point of view. All right. Turn your anger energy into a change for the better. You want to channel that anger energy into physical activity. So, you may be in a situation. Well, I could tell you my story. So when I was a little bit younger, I'm 48, but when I was a little younger, my mom used to get me upset. Okay. And I played tennis. And so I used to go out, hit on the court, hit on the wall. And I noticed that, that actual hitting on the wall kind of relaxed me a little bit. It allowed me to kind of get that physical energy, that emotional energy out. Because, I had a type of mom, I couldn't come at her crazy because, I probably wouldn't be on YouTube today. But anyway, we're going to keep it moving. All right. So anyway, so you want to try to solve the problem if you can as you work it out. And then hopefully that, will help you tighten that up. Okay. You want to try to accept situations that you can't change, right? Which takes some time, You want to changing our view of a situation will change our reaction to it. So, and there's a process that, we'll work with you. Or if you're interested, we can work together and I'll help you through that. All right. Don't let anger control you. Take control over it. And I really recommend people who have anger issues. It's very important, like this statement, that if you look back in your life and you be honest with yourself, you'll find that there's relationships that you messed up. There's situations that, haunt you if you don't rectify the relationship with those people. There are times when you're in situations and you looking at yourself like, how did I get in that situation? Right? It's because of anger. And I'm sharing this from my heart because I had that problem, and that's kind of why I'm here, because my goal is to try to help people with that situation because I've overcome it. But it wasn't easy. Okay. All right. Okay, so now we have to exercise self-control. Self-control is the ability to resist inappropriate behavior, dealing effectively with emotions such as anger and developing patience. Okay, maintaining self-control is key to managing anger. You might say, well, man, how can I handle that? Well, it does take practice, all right? One thing that I recommend people to do too is a lot of times people are in situations with anger because they're in the wrong environment, right? Where they're in an environment where everybody's volatile, nobody's trying to work together, very toxic type of situation, I would recommend people like separate yourself from that situation. That'll handle like a lot of your problems right there. All right. Okay. Everybody's getting angry. That's just how it is. The difference comes in what you do about it. Okay. So let's get a grip. All right. Dealing with anger. Anger. When you find yourself angry, remember the only behavior you can manage is your own behavior. So pay attention to your anger cues, and you feel like you're going to lose it, stop. All right. Okie dokie. Go ahead and put this around. All right, guys. I just want to say appreciate you guys. I'm Larry. Click on the link below if you're interested in finding out more. I wish that you go ahead and subscribe, like, and if you want more content like this, you know, just go ahead and write some comments and some other stuff that you like. Like I said, I'm a life coach, and I'm looking to kind of give more content and give more information to kind of help people through challenges, especially during this this pandemic issue that we're dealing with. All right, guys, I'll see you next video. Peace and love. Deuces.